In this video, we're going to talk about saving your passwords in a password vault. Using a password vault is important because we want you to use complicated passwords that are hard for people to read and for you to remember. We also want you to change those passwords often and not use the same passwords for every single account that you have out there. For more on creating passwords, there's another YouTube video on our page. Please take a look at it. We're going to be talking about a product called KeePass. KeePass has a couple of components to it. It has a master password. This is the password that's responsible for all of your data. So we want to make sure that you create a good, secure master password using a system that'll make it so that you can remember that password going forward. You also have a password database, which is the file that holds all of the different passwords that you're going to be storing in the system. You then have your individual accounts like your Dropbox accounts, Evernote, Facebook, email, etc. To get started, the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to install KeePass. If you're a fixed IT customer, simply submit a ticket and the team will get that installed for you right away. After you install KeePass, you're going to open it up, and the first time you open it, it asks if you'd like to create a master key. Basically, it's trying to create your first database. It may also ask if you'd like to store that data somewhere. You're going to want to store that on your Dropbox account if you have one. If not, you can store it on your C drive, but make sure you're storing it in a place that gets backed up. If you're a fixed IT customer, your desktop and laptop computers get backed up about once every 2 weeks. So we're going to want to make sure that you're storing it on the server, which gets backed up daily. Your master password is entered here. Once you enter your master password, you can click on these 3 dots and it'll show you the actual content of the password that you typed. You're going to have to repeat the password to make sure that you've typed it properly. And the other thing that you should keep an eye on is this estimated quality. What we're looking at here is how secure is the password you typed in. We want that to get over to the green area. Finally, there's a button here for connecting to your Windows user account. I don't suggest you do this. After you click OK, you're going to come up to a window that says General Settings. It's going to have a number of tabs on it. You're going to simply click through the tabs. Security, you're going to want to be set to AES 256-bit encryption. And key transformation, you're going to want to leave at 6,000 keys. You're going to want to leave compression for gzip, which makes it so that the file doesn't grow out of control. And this also, as a gzip file, will work on an iPhone or an Android. You'll want it to automatically create a recycle bin, which is a place that when you delete a password, it'll go to. And finally, on the Advanced tab, there are a number of things that we want you to keep going. First, the automatic history of entries is something you're going to want to leave in place. Basically, it retains 10 password changes for every single entry that you use. The reason that this is important is if you change your password and it doesn't quite take, you may want to go back and look at a historical one. Also, you're going to want to leave recommended changing of keys to 90 days and forced changing at 182 days. This will make sure that your master key never stays the same. The reason we want you to change your master key is if somebody does get a hold of your password group, if you change it on a regular basis, it'll make it so that they can't re-access it after they crack the first one. Remember, a password of 8 characters takes about 30 to 45 days for somebody to crack using a personal computer. After you click OK, you're going to be brought to a screen that looks like this. This is your normal database screen. And what you'll see is you'll see the name of your file, in this case BFM KDBX, and a star after it. The star means that you have unsaved work. It'll also add 2 sample entries in the system for you. You should probably delete them as you don't need them. The next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to create a new password entry. You're going to leave the categories the same, these items over on the left-hand side, as they're pretty good for what you're normally going to be using KeePass for. You can create a new password category if you'd like, but we're just going to leave them the same in our examples today. First, you're going to click on the grouping that you want to add an entry for, and in this case we're going to choose email. Then you're going to click Add Entry. Once you click Add Entry, that's by going up to this little key and pulling down to Add Entry, you're going to get a page that looks like this. Here, you're going to add a title. In this case, we're going to use Gmail. And this is a password for Lisa Marie. So we're going to add a username, lisamarie.dinedge. We're also going to put a password here. Now, when you first open it, it's automatically going to generate a password. You can use that one by clicking on the little dots and you'll see what the password it generated for you was, or you can type a new one in. Notice this quality indicates how good the password you created was. You're then going to enter a URL or a place that you can go to get access to your account and any notes that you think are important for you to refer to in the future. There's a couple of buttons on the right hand side that I want to go to. The first one is this icon button. The icon button can be used to change the icon to something different. For instance, a globe may not be the best icon for setting up a Gmail address or an email address. What you can do is after you click on that little icon button, you can then look through a number of icons that have already been set up in the system for your reference. Notice number 19 looks a lot better, as in a little folder or envelope. The other thing that I want to mention is the triple dots, which you can click to show what the password is currently, and this little hand with the star next to it, which brings up the automatic generation system. To generate a password, all you have to do is set the settings the way you want it, and then click the preview button and you'll see a list of them, or click OK and it'll put the generated password into the system for you. Once you click OK and save your new password, you'll see it here as a new entry in email. In this case, Gmail, lisamarie.die. The triple dots means there's more to see here. And then the password, as well as the URL and the notes that we took on it. The nice thing about this is, at any given time, you can double click on the URL right here and it'll open it in your favorite browser. You can also copy the password or the username to the clipboard by double clicking on it. Once it copies it to the clipboard, you have 12 seconds to use it. You'll see a green progress bar that'll be moving to the left, and once it hits 0, it'll reset or remove the password from your clipboard. It's important not to leave personal information and passwords on your clipboard, because one way that hackers like to get into your system is by reading your clipboard when you go to a particular site using JavaScript. Most web browsers don't allow that to happen anymore, but it's still a risk and we want to make sure that we're circumventing it. After you're done using KeePass and you go to close it, you're going to be presented with a question. The question is do you want to save the changes or discard them? Remember, your password key is much like your password database is much like a normal file in that you have to save it often. We also want to make sure that we're paying attention to where we're saving it. In this case, C:/users McCully desktop and then the password database. This may not be the best location for my password database because it's right on my desktop computer and it's not going to be synchronized to the server and it's not going to be in my Dropbox. So in that case, I'm going to want to make sure and save it and then copy it to where I want it to go. As a quick recap, we want you to create a good password for your master password. We want to make sure you have the right categories set up. The standard ones from KeePass work pretty well for most folks, but if you want to add new categories, you can certainly do so. You can then create all of your accounts. We want to make sure you save it in Dropbox or to a server that's being backed up more often than your workstations. And we also want to make sure that you're backing up often. If you're a fixed IT customer, you don't have to worry about that so much because we take care of it for you.